an overview. When cells replicate uncontrollably, that is when a mass forms, and that's called a tumor. So the tumor can be benign, non-cancerous, or malignant, which is cancerous and can spread. Breast cancer can start in different parts of the breast, and the lobules is where the glands that make the milk, and the ducts, which the milk is stored. If it's found in the nipple, it's called Paget's disease. And the stroma is the fat and connective tissue, that's called phylloid tumors. And if it's found in the blood vessels and lymph vessels, that's an angiosarcoma. There are different types of breast cancer. Most cancers are carcinomas, which are tumors that start in the epithelial cells that line organs and tissues throughout the body. In situ would be a precancer that has not grown into the rest of the breast tissue. And invasive would be cancer that has spread into surrounding breast tissue. So the most popular would be invasive ductal carcinoma and invasive lobular carcinoma. Breast cancer can spread. If the cells get into the blood or the lymph system, then it can be carried throughout the body. That is why during ultrasound, they check the internal mammary lymph nodes and the axillary lymph nodes to make sure that those aren't affected. If it does spread to the bone or to the brain, it is still considered breast cancer because the initial diagnosis is breast cancer. There are different stages of breast cancer, depending on the size of the tumor and the affected lymph nodes. If it gets to stage 4, then the size of the lymph nodes doesn't matter. It has been spread to other body parts. Prevention, it is required that you have a healthy diet and exercise. If you feel like that you have breast cancer in your family, you should do genetic counseling. BRCA1 and BRCA2 gene mutations likely cause cancer. BRCA1 and CA2 are suppressor genes that control cancer. So if you have the mutation, that is when cancer is caused. Some people, they decide to do surgery, and it is advised that if you have that in your family to do early mammograms, because cancer screenings don't start until age of 40. There are some health centers and programs that offer free screenings or low-cost screenings so you don't require insurance. Signs and symptoms of breast cancer: the breast can look dimply, feel like a thick area. The nipple can be crusted. It can be red hot at touch, unexpected fluid coming from the nipple, skin sores, a hard lump, orange peel skin, a new shape of the breast. The nipple is sunken, and then you can actually see visibly veins growing on the breast and bumps around the breast. Breast self-exams are very important. You should pick the same time each month. Examine your breast in front of a mirror. Feel for unusual changes in the shower, and do the same exam once you're lying down. Know your body, know you're normal, so that you can advocate for yourself if there is something different or any changes that you notice. And this is where my journey begins. I've been doing self-exams for years because I have dense breasts, so I occasionally have cysts. And March of 2021, I felt a lump, and I thought, oh, it's just a cyst. But come April, I still had that lump, and it felt a little hard. So I requested an appointment with my gynecologist. I met with her, and she felt it, and she felt like it was a cyst as well, but she ordered a diagnostic mammogram, which includes an ultrasound. So I had that done, and the radiologist felt like I needed a biopsy. I had the biopsy done 2 days later. A week later, I received my results. I was actually driving home from work, and I just parked in the garage. And she said, "Ms. Simon, do you have a moment?" I said, "Yes." And she said, we received your results and it is invasive ductal carcinoma. We do not have your hormone results yet, but I just wanted to let you know so you can get started finding a surgeon. So the next day, which was the Wednesday, the radiologist called me and said, we have your hormone results. And the hormone results show that is triple negative. So I had no idea what all of this was. She said triple negative means that your cancer does not have receptors for estrogen or progesterone, and it does not produce the protein HER2. So that means that you will not receive, you really have no treatment whatsoever except for chemo. So I called my gynecologist and she referred me to a surgeon. And the surgeon saw me that same week on a Friday. The surgeon said, I needed to see you immediately because when I received your results, it showed that you are grade 3, which is the fastest spreading, growing cancer. So I had grade 3, stage 2, triple negative invasive ductal carcinoma. She explained the details of the type of cancer I had, which is found in younger women, Black women, and there are very few treatments. So she said, I work with an oncologist at MD Anderson that has a clinical trial for triple negative breast cancer. So I thought, triple negative breast cancer clinical trial, oh my goodness, this is bad, because in my mind, I thought clinical trial was the last resort, but that's not the case. There are clinical trials throughout any stage of cancer. And it's important to do the education and research to find out about those clinical trials. So I had the appointment with MD Anderson. They called me and they said, it's best to make an appointment with a multi-team so that you can meet with everyone. So I asked, what is the multi-team? And she said, that would be your surgeon, your medical oncologist, and your radiologist, radiation oncologist. So I met with all of them. And we had to redo all of the imaging. So this time around, this is what you see on the screen is a contrast mammogram so that they can see the tumor. Because of my dense breast, you really can't see it in a regular mammogram. And then I also had a contrast ultrasound so they could pick up all the spots. They found more spots, and that is the picture on your left. Everything was benign. And then I had to do an MRI to pick up anything that the ultrasound couldn't find. They found more spots. All of those spots were benign. The MRI biopsy included me laying down in the MRI machine with my breast hanging. They had to drill a hole on the side to get to the point where they had to biopsy. I was so grateful for all of that was benign, so we could just concentrate on one tumor. I told my parents once I found out all of that information, and then I told my siblings, and they all took it hard. And I felt like I was consoling them. I'm the one with cancer, and I'm consoling them, trying to, calm them down. So I felt like after that, anybody else who needs to know, my mom could tell them, or I sent text messages out. And that really helped. I had a great village, supported me. They visited me and sent care packages. So my journey started. I had to there's my treatment plan. I met with the team. They said, you're gonna have to go and talk to fertility to see if you want to freeze your eggs. And I thought, no, I don't want to freeze my eggs. I don't want to have kids. So I just really wanted to get started. I had to get my port placement. That is where I received my chemo. I was very nervous about that because I had never had surgery before. I never had an IV, so I didn't know what to expect. And I had a nurse who came in. She said, honey, you're going to be just fine. I had triple negative breast cancer, and look at me. I'm fine. I'm up here. I'm the nurse at MD Anderson, and you're going to be just fine. And that really put me at ease. So after I received my port, the same day, I had my first chemo treatment. I had 4 rounds of AC, which is adriamycin Cytoxan, and everybody knows that as the red devil because it's red, and you have a lot of side effects. My hair fell out. I had nausea. I was just very fatigued. I had bone and joint pain. It was a lot of side effects, but I still was able to move around more than I expected. After those rounds, because those were every 2 weeks, so that took about 2 months, and that was during the summertime, I started Taxol, and that was a breeze. Oh, I would have Taxol every Friday because I started work. I'm a teacher, high school teacher. So every Friday I would have treatment. I would recover over the weekend, and Monday I was back at work, and I did that for 12 weeks. I also had to do genetic counseling to find out if I carried the BRCA1 and 2 mutation, and I did not. I was negative for that. So that helped me decide if I wanted to do a lumpectomy or a mastectomy. And I decided on the lumpectomy. So I met with the surgeon and we discussed the plan. Also met with the plastic surgeon to do reconstruction to smooth out that area or indention from the lumpectomy. For October came, I ended chemo and then I prepared for surgery. Surgery was in November. I recovered from surgery and I started radiation in December. Radiation was until the mid-January point. I am grateful for the experience I had. I was so, I don't know, it was like a bittersweet moment because during surgery, they found out that my tumor had shrunk all the way. They couldn't find the tumor. So they just took out the area around the tumor and all that came back negative. There was no cancer, so I was cancer free. And then when I was saying my goodbyes after radiation, it was like, we don't want to see you anymore. We plan not to see you anymore. So, you build these relationships with people and now you say your goodbyes and don't see them. I still continue to see my medical oncologist. I have to go there every 3 months just for checkups. And then my radiation oncologist, I see twice a year, but everyone else I plan not to see again. But it was a great experience. I was positive throughout the whole journey. And I'm just happy to be here to share my story and to advocate. I feel like if you know your body and you know you're normal and you advocate for yourself and you educate yourself, then everything will be great. I'm continue advocating for myself because I still have side effects after the chemo. It'll be a year, October 15th, and I'm still dealing with side effects there. But I know my body and I know what's not normal. So I'm always advocating. I'm doing acupuncture. I'm also seeing a rheumatologist for the bone and joint pain. So, I take one day at a time, but I am in a great place right now. Any questions?
Miss Christie, I am so I'm over here probably bawling, crying in the background when you say that yours was triple negative. My cousin's was triple negative and she was 36. And
okay.
Unfortunately, she did not, beat her journey. And to see the end of this and how you've come out of it, and it's almost been a year. Like I'm over here clapping in the background on mute. And I'm like, I love to hear that and love to see that. And when you said that nurse came in and said, baby, don't worry about it. You're gonna be okay.
Yeah.
I love to hear it. So I'm gonna open it up for questions that anybody may have of Miss Simon to see if there's anything anybody wants to ask. Please don't be shy. We're in a safe space. It's 14 of us in here today. So please ask your questions if you have any.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, my name is Nene. I have a question. I heard everything you just said. It was like me because I went through the same process, the same timing. Everything you just mentioned was what I went through.
Okay.
And yes. But right now, I wanted to ask you. You talked about fertility because I couldn't afford to do that, and I didn't do it. And recently I went to the gynecologist and my hormone level was very low. It was like 0 point stuff because I really wanted to get pregnant, but I couldn't. I don't know if there is anything you could recommend for that because it's really getting to me. And another thing you said was about your body. You still have the pain. Sometimes I have my muscle pain. It's been like a year too, you know.
Yes.
And yeah, so I still have all that. Recently, I don't know, I've been having this severe pain from the better side of the breast and all that. So I'm having my mammogram done every 6 months.
Okay.
Actually, yeah. So I have another one scheduled for this month in 2 weeks. So I just needed to know what more I can do, because it's really becoming a concern. But everything has been fine recently. I'm sorry to cut you short, but yeah.
Well, that's good. I know that it just depends on your body. I have heard that some women did not freeze their eggs and their cycle started back and they were able to have a baby. But yeah, I really don't know any advice to give you besides a healthy diet, because yeah, my cycle stopped June of 2021 and mine, it hasn't started back again.
Oh, mine started like 6 months after. My cycle started 6 months after the whole treatment. Mine came in very quick, you know, and
okay,
yeah, it surprisingly did, but I don't know. But I'll just keep asking and finding solutions to it.
So you have talked to your gynecologist about it?
Yes, I saw her like 2 weeks ago, and she just wanted me to go back to the fertility doctor to find out something to just boost it up.
Okay. Well,
yeah.
Good luck, ma'am.
Thank you.
Any more questions for Ms. Simon? Don't be shy.
I'm shy too, so come on with the questions.
Well, good afternoon. I just wanted, because breast cancer affects so many women and especially Black women.
Yes.
How do we get the awareness out there? Because all too often it's too late. We ignore, or it's a money issue, or we put off. How do we get to that our young women are made aware that they must check their bodies, that this is something serious, that they must check their bodies, that is part to the course?
I just feel like we should continue having events like this one where, you know, people speak out about their stories and advocate and show them how to do breast exams, because I know there are other organizations who are out there doing the same, just so that, you know, younger adults can be aware.
One thing I want to say is that make sure you're advocate for yourself too. I have dense breasts as well, and have been having it as young, very young. And so I've actually been getting diagnostic screening since I was 27. I'm 39.
Okay.
So I actually go in and was doing ultrasounds every year. And then I started doing mammograms. So I've been doing mammograms well before I was 40, only because I advocate for myself. If I feel something and I know my body and it's not right, I need you to check it. It may be a cyst, and yes, I do have cysts. I actually have fibroadenomas within the breast, but I get them checked every year. Like, I want my mammogram and I want my ultrasound, and I demand that of my doctor. And luckily I have a gynecologist who's like, you say something wrong, it's not right, we're going to check it out, you know? And so I would say also make sure that us as young people and young Black women, that you got to advocate for yourself. You have to go in and say, hey, if you have insurance, I pay insurance. I know it will pay. I want to get this done. So it's one thing I have to say.
And like I said earlier, there are, you know, centers that have it for free. So, because I know everybody can't afford it. Those mammograms and ultrasounds are very expensive.
Yes. I see we have someone who was
Hi, my name is Celeste, and I have a question. Are you able to hear me?
Yes.
I was going to ask, you mentioned it was difficult for your family and you kind of had to comfort them. How long did you wait until you told them?
I waited a week after diagnosis to tell my parents, and then I didn't tell my siblings until I met with the multi-team, which was probably 3 weeks later.
And
So,
if-
because
if
I knew they would have questions, so I wanted to have, all the answers.
all the answers. And I understand you said you had to comfort them. Do you feel like I imagine you felt fear as well, but when you first heard the news, do you think you were, I don't know how to describe, maybe were you shocked? It's just trying to understand. It's a very different perspective. It was just very different to hear you say you were comforting them.
Yeah, I was shocked because I had no clue of all the different types of breast cancer. So, I had to educate myself.
Right. Just to imagine that
think-
you're trying to comfort them and you yourself is still shocked, and it just must be
Right. But I think after the visit with the surgeon, and she really went into detail of, what I had, and then because I found it early, I would be okay. I just felt peace after that. And I knew, I had to go through the treatments, but I was consoling my siblings. I had to tell them I'm going to be okay. And I could just see the tears, but when people hear the word cancer, they just think it's the end, but that was not necessarily the case.
Right.
Well, can I add something as well? Going back to what the young man was asking about Black women and awareness. Well, I'm a little older when I got cancer diagnosed at 57.
Okay.
And but both my sister and I, and she was 6 years younger than me, we both got diagnosed at the same month, same breast. Our journeys were very different.
Mm-hmm.
We were able to compare stories and things. However, what the young man was asking as far as awareness, I find that in the Black and the brown community, people have a tendency not to want to share the information until you actually get it. Then you find out just about everybody in your circle has had some type of journey with breast cancer. So it's so prevalent in the community that I think that the word is definitely it needs to be out there a little bit more, maybe public service announcements or something else. But they need to do something, I think, a little bit more awareness than just the month of October is what I'm saying.
Yes, I agree. Are you part of any support groups?
Yes, like Living Beyond Breast Cancer. I do. I go through the VA and I do some support groups through there. So yeah, I pretty much stay active with the information and trying to spread the word. Now, I believe that we ought to just look at it like a mammogram and a pap smear ought to go together because you only get one body.
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Simon, you mentioned diet and exercise. So let me ask you this: were you active before your diagnosis?
I was not. I mean, I do walk, and I still continue to walk, but yeah, I was not that active.
Okay.
I think I'm more now.
I was going to ask
before.
right now, are you active? Okay.
I gained a lot of weight with the steroids they had to give me before each treatment. So I gained about 30 pounds. So I'm trying to lose that.
We talk about how prevalent, Miss Washington, you talk about how prevalent it is in the community. And it really is like at this point, my aunt just had her mastectomy and reconstruction. She did it all at one time.
Mm-hmm.
She rung the bell last month. We celebrated, and she had her surgery actually on Friday, right before the breast cancer walk.
Okay.
And her reconstructive. So it hits so close to home with so many people that are around you, like people that you can physically like touch.
Yes.
That it's so prevalent within our community, the Black and brown community. And it's we have a lady who works in cleaning services at the college, and we were talking about breast cancer and we were doing our awareness programs. And she says, I'm a breast cancer survivor, 20 years. I continue to go. And she says, I talk to you young people and you make sure you go and you get your checkups and you see your doctors. And so again, people who've had it, spreading awareness, I think is the best thing about making sure people know. Get your checkups, know your body. Don't be afraid to go to the doctor. We had another young lady that I work with who says that she was over 40 and had never had a mammogram because she was afraid to go.
Oh, really?
She
Okay.
was afraid to go. Any other questions for Ms. Simon? Don't be shy. Ask away. All right, I guess there's no more. I'm gonna tell you guys, Eagles, we do have more awareness programs and events coming up throughout the month of October. Through all of our campuses, we'll be doing our Pink Out Days, celebrating those who are fighting breast cancer, maybe have lost their journey with breast cancer or survived their breast cancer journey throughout the week at our different campuses. We'll be doing it at North Forest on Wednesday for our Pink Out. We can't do balloons anymore, but we can do bubbles. So we'll be having a bubble release party for our survivors, those who lost their fight and who are fighting the fight. So, Ms. Simon, are there any closing words for our Eagles today?
Know your normal and advocate for yourself.
All right. Thank you guys so much, Eagles. Make sure you check out our Eagle Experience page at hccs.presence.io. That way you can find out what's happening on campus and all of our breast cancer awareness events. I hope to see you guys soon. Have a good one.